Welcome to Ulua. You live, you work, you art.
Hi friends, how are you? I have been invited during this week to talk about agility and conflicts because I was invited by my friend Guillermo Occhipinti. This conference was made in Spanish, but I will make a summing up of the conference because this channel is called You Live, You Work, You Art, and we are not doing that much about work. So I will take the opportunity to do so. And by the way, I will tell you just now, if you are not aware that I'm working, I've been working for the past, I don't know, like 25 years or more in technology, and I have worked as a coach, as a manager, as a facilitator. I'm now working with strategic leadership, and I'm working also, well, basically with creativity too, innovation, those kind of things. And basically what I do is solve problems wherever and whatever matter it comes. Sometimes I do it alone, sometimes I do it with a team. And with Guillermo we have a program of innovation in case you need us for anything. A program about negotiation, agility, and innovation. Also, we work on that. He also works on creativity, and me too. Sometimes we have made programs for different companies. And I've known Guillermo since 2018, I guess, and we have done several things here and there. Okay, I have said that all, and what else? Well, this conference that he invited me to was about agility and conflict. And I thought of making this because we were talking via LinkedIn at the time he invited me. He was commenting and that kind of things, and he said, "Well, not everything is like paper, like sticky notes or post-its, colors, stick posts everywhere, and happiness when we think of agility." And what is agility? Let me introduce that first. Well, agility is a movement that was presented as an alternative to traditional management or traditional project management in companies, because agility brings to the table, I will go to 3 specific things. There are many, but for example, you can work in collaboration with your clients together most closely, and also receiving feedback more rapidly from your clients than the traditional management used to. And also you have short periods of time where you work and show what you have been doing, so your client can revise that and say, okay, no, that's not right, I wanted to do some other things. And you basically adapt to what's needed for your client satisfaction. That's the idea, for better satisfaction as a customer. Also shorter periods of working just sometimes blindly, which used to happen a lot in larger projects, when you have sometimes you spend like 2 years working, and when you gave the finished project to the clients, they no longer needed that. So now it's like more coming and going and collaborating all the time. That's basically it in a nutshell. But there are so many frameworks and methods and tools and everything you can use from this agility world, which is immense. We have a lot of things there. And from the beginnings, this way of working exposed every conflict that were happening in a company. For example, everything was exposed because you need, in order to be quick and have a high performance team, you need to solve your problems even more rapidly than in general. So during these conversations on LinkedIn with Guille while I was preparing this talk, he mentioned these kind of things. Not everything is paper colors and happiness. So I said, yes, not everything is rosy. And that's when I came back with this idea of making this like the drama of agility. And I know right now drama has a negative connotation, and people think that drama is bad, but that's not correct, I would say, because drama, as you know, I know you love drama, don't you? You love drama because you watch series and you watch movies and they are full of drama. And what is drama? Drama is fueled by conflicts, because conflicts are just one tiny thing that's, for example, the clashes of objectives, of goals, the clashes of ideas, of concepts, of interests. And so like they are particular spots that are composing this big picture or this big story of the movie or the story of your company. So I started with that, saying that drama isn't really negative, even though in our language we tend to think about that as, oh, drama is so bad, we shouldn't have any dramas and that kind of thing. No, we will have, because if we are alive, we will have dramas everywhere and we will have conflicts everywhere. And what's the difference between conflict and a drama? Again, drama is fueled by conflicts, and what are the solutions or the ending of the story? We could say the ending of the story could be uncertain. Maybe there's no resolution at all. That happens a lot in some movies or series or the theater. And in other cases, it could go to tragedy. That's, you could say, the bad ending if that's a tragedy, but not the drama itself. And then on to comedy, so everybody ends up laughing about the resolution of the conflict in the drama. So drama is a neutral thing, and I wanted to demystify this in the talk. And so we went on talking about, for example, one of the persons here, one of the people asked me a really good question. I think it was Emiliano, and he said, have you seen teams that are working, they are high-performing teams? And I said, from the hundreds of teams that I've seen in my life, because I have seen a lot now, sometimes I had to manage many teams during their evolution, but the very, very fantastic teams that I've seen are no more than 3 or 4, maybe. And so he wanted to ask me, have you seen these teams having conflicts, or when do teams have no conflict at all? And he also said, is this affected by culture? Because as I also mentioned, I have been working around the world, in Mexico, in the US. I've worked with people from India also. I've been to Indonesia working there, Latin America and many countries, and Europe, and with people from all around the world. And I said to him, no, conflict is never ending. It's like life, right? Conflict is all the time. We solve one thing and another one pops up. But the difference is that when you have a high quality or a high performance team, for example, the one that comes to mind has been working for at least 10 years together. So even though sometimes some people come and go, they have quite a solid team, and they have very refined their rules and everything when they work. So it's, yes, conflicts are right all the time, but they do have this way of working that helps them focus on the problem and leave aside everything else. So, I mean, they can focus on the problem, leaving aside all the drama that we usually say. It's all like problems we have, like more focus on the people. But no, here they are focused on the problems and solving these conflicts. And he also said, as I mentioned before, does this had to do with culture? For example, is there some culture in the world that you haven't seen any conflict? And I also said I had to think a little bit about this, because I thought, well, no, because even when you seem that, or people says to you that there's no problem, there's always something going on. Especially if they say, here we don't have any problem, that's a symptom for me. Because there always are things that we have to solve together as a team, or at least two people of the team have to work things out. This can be related to work directly, or this can be also be related to interpersonal relationships, or with themselves inside the team, or outside of the team, because we are people, we communicate, and sometimes even though we try to make it the smoother we can and the best that we can and the more clear than we can, sometimes it's not really in our hands to have this kind of super clear communication. Sometimes we will make mistakes, sometimes things will get through not as we expected, sometimes I have to tell something to a partner, and then the partner communicates to the other one, and there's like a confusion there. So yeah, conflicts are all the time, everywhere, regardless of the culture of the teams or the companies. And again, if you see no conflict, maybe because team is not pushing hard enough, or it's not being totally honest with themselves. And though I think that could seem like some kind of harsh thing to say, but that is what I've seen in every country and every culture that I've been to, and also with any number of teams. Of course, that was another of the questions that they made me. I think it was Grisel. But yeah, the more people you have on the team, the more conflicts will arise, because you will have more people to communicate. So the communication gets like complicated, and there could be some things going on there. But if you have a really good high performance team that they have set all the rules during their time together, you can tackle that like in no time. And people won't get that emotional as we generally do when we have a new team, or we have different perspectives. Sometimes we have someone that's shouting out loud to the other colleagues. This happens a lot. In some cultures that is allowed and people don't have any problems. In other cultures that's seen less like the worst thing that you could do to them. So it will depend on many things. But yeah, conflicts will arise no matter what. So we talked also about how agility, as I was saying, this way of working, way of doing things, in its core has already deep inside it this drama. Drama is like born with agility. And I have actually one of the person, the people that signed this manifesto at the time is one of our friends with Belen and me. Also, we interviewed him too. So I will leave the links of those interviews here. They're all in Spanish, about Guillermo and also Victor. Even though Victor is from the UK, he spoke with us in Spanish because he lives here in Argentina. And because our audience in the other channel is in Spanish. Anyways, Uh, so from the very beginning, this Agile Manifesto was conceived as a manifesto that we would have as this way of working. We had to tackle different problems and different conflicts because we are working with people, right? And we are working more closely to our customers, so we are in constant feedbacks, and friction is impossible to avoid, so it's inevitable. And if you have this friction, because you are working especially with people from different disciplines, sometimes they don't have the same language, sometimes they don't have the same vocabulary, sometimes they don't have the same ideas or concepts, they think their priorities are different one another, and you have to try to get them all together to some consensus about what's going to be done. That's the minimal thing, just from the methods or the frameworks or the tools themselves. From the very beginning, conflict will be there, and you know it. I mean, you know it if you have gone through, like myself and other people that were there too. But this is not something that's really spoken about, because in general, where big consultants, companies, what they do is they say, okay, we will come and we will install you or implement you this tool or this way of working, and you will have no problems because we want to sell you, of course, and that they don't say that. But what happens then? People is super happy because they have this. It's like this could be like analogy to the spiritual world when you go into a retreat for meditation, for example, for a weekend, and everyone is so happy and lovely and everything, and then when you go back to your home, you won't apply the same exact things, or you come back and you realize you can't meditate or you can concentrate on your own or wherever. This also happens with this kind of facility thing, because in general they come and say, oh, you will be so happy and everything will be amazing, you won't have any problems at all, and we will take care of everything. But then what they do is they say, okay, this is this and this and this, you have your checklist and go and do it. And that's when problems arise, and that is when Gisha and I go to the companies and try to help people really get this. And though it seems I may be bragging about the thing, but that is actually what has happened in the past for us. So we go and take care of the conflicts. So we start helping them with facilitation, with negotiation, with preventive ways of ways of working, preventing conflicts and those kind of things, because we have certain tools in order to help them. And so not everything is like rosy colored, or at least when you realize that it's not like that, you will start looking for ways to resolve those conflicts. And I have to say, I have also been in that place when I was full of joy because I was a new consultant and I wanted to have this amazing colorful stickers and everything, and I realized I was a newbie in that. And I just wanted people to be happy at their work, but that doesn't happen, at least not overnight. And for some people, they are never happy with their work. They just go and do their job, and that's it. And that's perfectly fine if the job they're doing is okay. I don't know. So it's like more of mature perspective that I have now about teams and ways of working and things. And well, as I was saying, friction is everywhere. It's everywhere in life. It's everywhere in teams. It's everyone. If you have or two or more people friction will be there, which is great for innovation, for creative thinking, for taking your company into the next level. But that has to be, again, redirected. You have this drama, right? You have this movie, and you are the director of the movie, and you have to help them refocus or address in a different way the conflict that they are having. Because if you don't do that, they might end in a place that you don't want, or it doesn't serve the purpose of your company. So we talked about different scenarios, and again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm better when people throw at me questions because or situations that I want to resolve, because that's when that is why I always say that I really love conflict, because I can see the thing that they're needing, and I can give them options, and I can give them situations that I've solved in the past, and I can help them better than just by saying. And I realize I have also forgotten about so many situations that have happened in the past. I don't know, because I try to be in the moment for the team or the person or the company that's right in front of me, and try to see their situation and not just cling onto my past knowledge, because that may not apply. And by the way, I will tell you a little anecdote. I didn't say this in the talk, but I remember in two different companies, they have the very similar problem. And I tried the same thing in both of them, because I was new. But in the first company that I tried that thing, it was in one company, the thing was, I wanted to start a community of knowledge, a community of sharing things and knowledge from the company itself, right? Of course, about work. And so what I did was I invited everyone if they wanted to come to this conference, and they did. And so I had in my mind, I had this this idea that, okay, this worked, so maybe I can do the same that I did that time in this new situation that I had, which was the same. I wanted to start a community, but this was a totally different company and totally different culture. That is why I was interested in learning more about cultures and how culture and art, and through creativity, and that you can modify or change culture of a company in this case. And I remember I said, okay, I will do the same that I did before, because last time it worked. So I sent invitations to everyone, and I was saying, hey, come to this, because we are starting a community and everything will be fine and everything. And nobody came. And so I realized, oh, this is because in this company, unless people are told that they have to, they won't come. So I took a different approach, like a second time. The first one was a total failure. And I invited everyone, but I said, you have to be present in this place. And that was the way that they would be available for that thing that we were starting. So even if you have the same situation, you have to be aware that things will be really different from one another. But anyways, I have gone sideways again. And we talked about different scenarios, as I was saying, about what are the main conflicts that in general teams or companies have. And they asked a lot of questions about operations. I mean, not that much about strategic things, but mostly about operations, about the teams themselves. And one of the questions was for example, if you have a team that's for 5 people or you have a team like 20 or 50 people, which one is more likely to have more conflicts? And I said the more people they have, the more conflicts they have. I don't know if I have mentioned this before. Sorry about my memories, a bit shaky. Okay, and another thing we talked about is this: when you go to a company and you do your digging in order to understand what's going on there, the main thing, every single time, I was about to say every fucking time, they answer the same thing. Communication is bad here. So you have to start digging what is communication, in what specific scenarios, in what specific cases. And so you realize there it's not just communication, because that's like saying nothing. You realize that communication means sometimes that they have mixed or confusing roles and responsibilities within the teams. They have they have not clear prioritizations, not clear goals, or unclear goals. They have for example, visibility problems, or the conflicts that they have, they are sweeping under the rug, and they are not, or they are afraid sometimes to say, hey, I have a problem here, come here because I have a problem and I need this to be solved. Sometimes they are afraid of saying that. It depends on the culture, right? And so those are the most important scenarios that have friction or conflict within teams. The most frequent, because we didn't have a lot of time. I think I'm spending more time here talking to you than in this talk, but it was also super, as I was saying, nurturing. That could be the word, because they ask me questions, and I really thrive when I can answer questions for real, and not just trusting my memory, which is a total mess. And yeah, so we were talking about those kind of scenarios and things. Somebody said, okay, but I have a team right now and I'm doing this and this and this. Is that okay? What else should I do? How could a facilitator help me with this problem that I have? So many other questions that they asked. I'm not going to go into those details right now. But yeah, so in the end, as we were saying, you have to redirect your attention or your focus into the things that you want to get done. And we went into a specific, just to close this webinar, when we was going to a specific thing that I have seen almost every day in every company, or in many companies. You see, like, regularly, I could say, not every day, in meetings when people start to sometimes shout, but at least discussing, and it goes into an endless debate on something that is unproductive, really. So I wanted to leave them with just one single question that they could ask when this happens, and not to get stuck in that situation like just a spectator of this drama going in front of them, but to be a protagonist, to be a starring a character in the scene. So just lift your hand and ask, what's the minimal thing that we need in order to move on, to move forward, and to continue and take action? Because this kind of again, method, framework, whatever it is you are using, that is using this agility, this flexibility, and this way of working, it's rooted on action. So you need action. You can't stay forever. And I've seen this so many times, even in agility environments where people are still fully mature in this agility thing. Because sometimes they come from past experiences like traditional management and that kind of thing, when you would have, I remember being sitting in endless meetings with people shouting or stuck on a single detail that you could, I don't know, solve sideways, and you had like 20 people on a meeting, wasting their time totally. And so that simple question will disarm that conflict. So that simple question will help you move forward and take action, because this agility thing or method is about taking action. Not blindly, because that's another thing I've seen, but we could talk about it at another time. But just take action on the things that you can do right now. Because sometimes you see, no, but you can't do that. Well, what's the minimal thing we can do right now in order to move forward? That's the only question you need, basically, in order to disarm these conflicts in meetings. And well, I just wanted for you to know a little bit about my work too, because this is part of life. And I don't want to. I do have another channel that I had in the past, and that's the one you also see in the end screen. But I'd rather have just one, even though it's a total mess and a weird thing. I really don't mind, because I want to have everything in one place. So anyways, I hope this is useful, that you find this useful, because I think that question will serve you regardless the industry you're in, regardless even the method you're using, the way of working, anything. You can just do that question in order to move forward and to end this kind of endless meetings that really bore us to death. And also, those are meetings that are taking money from the companies. I don't know why. I don't know why people in the companies are wasting so much time in this kind of meetings. And if you are in a meeting with me someday, I think I mentioned this. I'm like the witch of meetings. But if I do sometime say too much, like I do in the channel here, sorry, talking about nonsense, or maybe not nonsense, maybe there are important things, but you are getting nowhere, just let me know if I'm a meeting with you and I'm doing this kind of thing, because it could happen, right? So it's really useful. In general, I don't talk that much at work. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. So thank you for being here, and I hope this is useful, so you also know a little bit of what I do. If you want, you can hire me, and I will try to do the best for you and your company. I basically just solve problems, mostly in technology, but I work in different industries, but mostly in technology because I've come from that. I know the language, I know the vocabulary, and well, I have also had to learn other languages too from other companies, but in general, I work in technology. That is what I want to say. So yes. Have fun, have a beautiful week, and see you next Wednesday. Bye bye. Oh, and before I leave again here, I will leave the link to this presentation. So if you want to just look at it, it will be in my coffee. You can download it. You can. You also have there my contact. If you need anything, I'm there. So
Stay tuned for Uluwa's next episode.